DT does not believe that there's a G word going on in South Africa. That's why when some people are in my video talking about, the South African president, he's diplomatic. Yeah, he's a diplomatic man. He's a calm man and everything else. But DT does not believe that there's a G word going on in South Africa. So be diplomatic about what? That's all I'm saying. He really does not, he does not believe this. Okay. I did a video a long time ago during that Zulu parade stuff, right? And I literally said a white South African made a video to try and cause an issue between Black Americans and the Zulu. Now, watch this. In that same video, I said the reason he's trying to do that, because the other one over here, the one that started with an M, Mr. M is over here, right? And that's why he started the dissent. That's why he started that whole issue with that, right? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, okay? Because of something that he wants in South Africa that he could not get. So, what is the one of the first rules of what's one of the first things aims of apartheid? It's to gain and to keep economic power, right? Now, I'm going to show you something because I read this already in another video, but I'm going to show it to you, okay? The strategy of apartheid is to divide and conquer, to keep Africans divided along tribal lines, and then to separate them from other more privileged racial groups. Now, this whole plan, like I said before, started, and I was trying to get that out there. The whole plan started was to make the Zulu upset at Black Americans, and then to make that effect go back toward them. So they started with the Zulu parade thing, right? And I said, right after they do this, they're going to go on the attack, because before they go on the attack, I said they're gonna start with something with South Africa. I don't know what it is, but they're gonna start something with South Africa, because that a white South African started that whole Zulu parade mess in the first place. Okay? It was obvious to me. It was obvious to me because I've studied the whole pattern over and over again throughout history. So this was the first step, caused dissension between two tribes, African Americans and the Zulu. Why African Americans? Because they've always been behind Black South Africans. They've always had Black South Africans back, okay? From the beginning of time, right? But if we can cause Black Americans to hold back their support while we do our thing, then they're just going to leave them out there hanging. And I'm over here in this country, and Black Americans have a certain amount of power in Congress and blah, 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 right? So they said, okay, so we got to create some kind of dissension so that Black Americans will stay out of Black South Africans' business, because Black South Africans won't want them around anymore anyway. Now, I said that. That's basically what. Now, here's strategy number 2. All of a sudden, there's a G word going on with white South Africans in South Africa. And he allows for the visitation from the Black South African president, where he quote unquote ambushes with a bunch of paperwork, a lot of it having nothing to do with any G word. Okay? Then he pulls out a video of a memorial service. That's exactly why the South African president had no idea what that was. all those crosses, because it doesn't exist anymore. It was a memorial service. It was only temporary. And it was because two farmers had passed away and they did a memorial service back in 2020. But see, DT knew that. And I'm going to tell you why he knows what he's doing, okay? And then he puts up a rally. You know, like the triple Ks have over here in different states, a rally. Sometimes the media catches it. Sometimes the media doesn't. But they always hold rallies and they say inflammatory things sometimes or whatnot, even on college campuses. Okay. The triple K does over here. So it was kind of a rally over there in South Africa. Malema led, right? I believe it's called the EFF or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, so he puts that up. Okay. And he builds the story around G word of white South Africans when he knows there's not. That's why there was no diplomacy. All the South African president had to do is call him out on his lies. That's it. But this the whole reason for all of this going on is it started to lay the foundation. DT wants to lay the DT and Mr. M wants to lay the foundation. And it started weeks ago. Lay the foundation for him to get his way and white South Africans to get their way in the country of South Africa. So now that the foundation is laid, it's a do this or do that. Do this or do that. You want your economy to flourish? Well, you're going to do this for Mr. M. He couldn't just put it out there. He had to lay a foundation first. And he had to generate more support. And ever since that meeting, there's been more people supporting what he says because he will create an issue. Just like he created an issue with a lot of other people here in the U.S. He will create an issue and he will build on that issue. He learned from one of the best who started World War II. So if you create an issue and you get followers behind that issue, you end up getting your way. This diplomacy was never going to happen. Diplomacy was never going to happen. Because that wasn't the reason. This is not the reason for all of it. What the first part of the foundation was to split the tribes. African American, Zulu. Cause some kind of dissension. So there won't be as much support. Then create dissension, even more dissension between the tribes within South Africa. The Moors and the black South Africans. Then gain support for the white South Africans by any means necessary, including a lie. So now will Mr. M get his way? Was there a deal struck? I don't know because I hadn't followed it. But I knew this was going to happen. Something's going to be installed in South Africa that circumvents the B laws.